Okay, here's one that the Washington Post has just put out, and of course, this is about elections and everything, and not about what my usual subject matter is about. But I've often felt through this all compelled to say something, but there are a lot of people that have a lot better access, knowledge of what's going on, plethora of things that they've known about for years and stuff like that that I can't match up to. Also, they have the ability to edit in and throw in little gaffes all the time and stuff like that too, so I don't do very much of this. But I had to mention this one because it's kind of a big whopper. Yeah, this is where CNN town hall that he had right there, where everybody's already realized that during Trump's town hall, they came at him and had these leading questions with stuff embedded into them and so on, and you're a racist, what do you think about that, and try to dig your way out of that hole, and every little sentence that went at him or question. Whereas Biden here has been given people that are given something to read. Hey, you have got a question? Well, here, read this to them. And you go, well, that's not my question. Well, we have to have people ask certain questions. Do you want to ask a question? And then you get a piece of paper, which he's already been briefed and told what to kind of say and act like. And so it's just a dog and pony show. And most people don't realize it and stuff. Now, sure, when Trump has this long speech, he's got it up on a teleprompter, but it doesn't work the same way as what he does as far as leading questions. And whenever he's been on TV here recently, where people are, it's pre-recorded because someone set him up with the answers. There it is right there. You can see the teleprompter reflecting on it. He even makes mistakes that catch into the teleprompter. Anyhow, people have done a lot of videos on this and shown these facts. And it's not just that, it's the lies and everything that goes along with it, and it's the media trying to twist everything at every opportunity. And this is just one time, but about the only one, where Washington Post or any of the people who are constantly attacking Trump and just softballing Biden actually show that Biden made a mistake. So we have to make a point out of that. And I've already seen a couple of videos that made me want to do this. And I go, what? Let me look at this statement they have here. And it's a little bit worse. But what really got me was whenever I got on here in the Washington Post right at the top, their moniker is Democracy Dies in Darkness. Now, this makes me think of, Palpatine at the Senate and how she was, Amidala was saying, this is how democracy dies with thunderous applause. And people trying to ruin everything. And I think some people mentally in their mind think that democratic means democracy, but there's not another side of that like Republican. It doesn't make any sense whenever you think about it, does it? But democratic is one party of democracy. So it sounds like it's got to lean that way, doesn't it? Well, no, the Republic set forth those things. And now when we see Star Wars and the little thing that ran through there and how the Republic goes and stuff, you can see the edict of these people that make movies and what they've got going on with it. So it's much deeper than that, isn't it? Just take that little moment there. But how a newspaper, modern day newspaper, would somehow have as their moniker, Democracy Dies in Darkness. And that's pathetic too. Well, their whole headline here is Joe Biden CNN town hall, an occasional whopper. And what we've really seemed to hear about Joe Biden is an occasional whopper. He's exaggerated numbers incredibly all the way through this whole thing, having trouble loading. It was loaded. Why would it have trouble? Let's see if I have to do my trick where it can't find it again, and then you just hit enter on it and it finds it. Yeah, there it goes again. That's funny. That's only started happening here recently, but I don't think anybody's attacking me or anything about that. Well, it did it twice. So, democracy dies in darkness. Well, that's just a dark moniker on the whole thing in the first place, isn't it? it's going to go through all this crap and try to make me reload it. So here we have that town hall. Joe Biden town hall does not hit the Pinocchio meter as much as a Donald Trump town hall. So even though they're saying this straight out and letting you know there were just too much gaffes here and they know everybody's going to attack it, so they come out with the first statement is not near as much. I'd like to think that there's a tally going on one site where a guy's got it and it's huge, and then all the ones with Trump's have asterisks on them. Well, what's this asterisk situation? Well, at the time that he said it, that was the best of the knowledge, and that was what he was being told by the doctors to say. Yeah, people have to be stupid to think that he's not in a meeting with these people right before he walks out with those people, like Fauci and so on, and then tells you what they just said in the room. Not that he would come out and then all of a sudden go, oh, I got something new. No, but they want you to think that. They want you to think that he's just spouting off stupid crap, like the fish medicine type stuff that might help to work, that they found works versus other things that are similar types. And now they've run trials and they threw fits about it. And now it comes out, oh yeah, they say it's very beneficial to try to use it. Well, they had to do tests about it. Well, he said that. Well, the media put it out that they wanted you to drink fish medication. No, there was a lady who tried to kill her husband with fish medication that contained the product. He never told you to do something like that or shoot up bleach or stuff that like they tried to say in their stupidity. Oh, what Trump says, and try to get all this crap against him. They tell you that Biden tends to stick close to the facts, but occasionally gets carried away through some overexuberance. Here are 5 claims that caught our attention during this town hall in Music, Pennsylvania, moderated by Anderson Cooper, of course. One comment is how they kept going over to Anderson Cooper and whispering to each other, and that kind of showed you that they were in cahoots with it and stuff. But, yeah. One thing that Biden said here, number 1, if the president had done his job from the beginning, all the people would still be alive. All the people. I'm not making this up. Just look at the data. Look at the data. So he tried to get people to believe that the only reason people died was because of Trump. And it isn't because of a coronavirus that's caused by the Chinese Wuhan people. And boy, they threw a fit when he said that. And even Pelosi went unmasked and ran down and said, come on down to China Hall. And wasn't he the one that was saying, it's about time to close down this thing. It could get real bad. But they're trying to be so bad against Trump, they told you to come on down to Chinatown. Yeah, there's a lot of gaffes that go with all this and stuff. I wish I could just throw little pieces of it in there, but perhaps you've seen this. Hopefully you've been paying attention. Well, he's telling you actually Biden made this up. There's no data to support this. Even if the president had moved rapidly in January, which he did, to deal with the coronavirus and been able to persuade the Chinese leadership to be more forthcoming about the situation, even nations that have been praised for their handling of the pandemic, such as South Korea, New Zealand, and Iceland, have suffered some deaths. 377 in South Korea, 25 in New Zealand, and 10 in Iceland. It's a very small number, but I don't know if you know, but in America, that same number, figuring the same way, is 9,000 and something. It's not 200,000 like you keep getting told, which is really 182,000. That's people that they said they're going to blame and say they had it along with their motorcycle accident that broke their neck. And all these other things, that they had other circumstances that by itself could have possibly taken it out. And they gave that percentage at something like 0.0016. So a couple of other guys made videos and they said, you know, there are years that we had more people die of bee stings. But also are handling just a couple of years before now of another flu that came through and how that was done. And then people were supposed to stockpile, but Biden's in the group that didn't do it right. And that's what left Trump in the position he was in. Almost like a setup, but we don't have as many deaths that are exactly COVID as you think they are is exactly being that. And that's a well-known fact now, but they try to play it off and say it's still the 200,000 and say, well, that's 182, and that's the inflated number. Now, months ago, we knew you were inflating numbers, so you had to fix that. So when it all came out, you came out true, didn't you? But then you came out true and tried to say, well, yeah, but you got to count some of these. It's the thing that pushed him over the edge. Some of these elderly people that Cuomo stuck people around that were sneezing and coughing in their face. Yeah. Stuff like that. In the United States, with 50 states run by governors, policies have varied greatly. Trump has been faulted for not articulating a national plan, but he would have had trouble persuading every governor to follow the exact path. In fact, we can still see that going on today. In fact, in democratic countries, major cities, they don't seem to want his help. And if he said green, they say blue. If he says orange, they say yellow. Then no matter what they say, they're going to try to say something different. And then whenever they have their whole city on fire, he goes, I can send somebody to help you if you can't handle it. And they go, no, we're fine. And it continues to burn and burn and burn. And we're fine. And so Trump goes, this isn't on me. You understand clearly this isn't on me. They're rejecting it totally. This is the Dems doing it, and everybody realizes it. But would you believe now they're trying to turn around and say those fires are because of Trump? No, it's because of Dem freakout. And you pushed it, and so did the media. All of that's being done. We all understand that and see it very well, and you aren't going to be able to turn that around. No, you're not going to be able to turn that around either. You've exposed yourself by sitting here lying repeatedly and trying to cover up and but Trump, that type of attitude. It eventually exposed itself enough times to where enough people saw it that it just fell apart for you. And you can't quit it now. Oh, you can put an article like this and go, well, we did criticize him once. Really? Is this a criticizing whenever you start out Pinocchioing Trump and all kinds of stuff? Yeah. On the flip side, Trump routinely claims he saved millions of lives, a claim also not supported by evidence. Well, you can look at the evidence. They originally said that there could have been 2 million people die out of all this. Yeah. And he cut it down to, even if you lie and inflate the numbers, at 200,000. And so 2 million is more than a million over the number. And wow, if you're projected were 1.2 to 2.5 million people could die from this, and he kept it to 200,000, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? But no one has tried to talk about anything that he's done that is amazing. And then when you find out they inflated that damn number in the first place and he kept it down to a number. Remember, he was the one that shut down the moving of the country, and when they did again, they were like, oh no, China's fantastic, and started pandering. Oh, expose themselves again and run down to Chinatown and come on down to Chinatown. Then all of a sudden, a week later, we couldn't go anywhere without a mask, and you sure don't want to go where she was trying to take you. But that's okay. She can get her hair done. Yeah, they set her up. She didn't set up an appointment. When back in January I wrote an article for USA Today saying we've got a pandemic, we've got a real problem. This is Biden trying to state that he was first to come on with this thing. Well, just to be honest with you, he's a nothing burger. What do I mean by that? Well, he actually isn't running anything but his mouth. No one in the United States would take an incumbent come on and try to say, oh, here's what I do, and even listen to it at all. They'd be like, excuse me, we've got people running the country. I know you're trying to be that person, but you can sit down over there. Well, the problem ensues out of that he seems to feel like he has that issue, that he could do that because he was a vice president before, right? So they keep referring to him as Mr. Vice President, but he's a lame duck now. And they keep referring to Trump as Mr. Trump, and they won't refer to him as Mr. President too. And you can actually find hundreds and hundreds of these issues where they're just trying on purposely to say that this way, interjecting little things. Oh, it's all a psychological battle, they think. Like we're stupid or something. Well, some Americans are. Some of them you can see burning down cities, thinking things and getting told wrong things and believing it. Bob Rose overstates what he said in January. He did not flatly say it was a pandemic. In fact, he didn't even go that way. In fact, if you'll remember, they went against what Trump said whenever he was trying to shut it down and do those things. And it was like, well, maybe I ought to slack on it somewhat. He also now has supposedly been caught where he played down the thing in the first place. And of course, he's come out and say, well, a good leader would do that. He would play it down like we're going to get control of it. I wouldn't just start running around with my hands up in the air and go, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. So you can tell that stupidity, in fact, the all going to die people exposed themselves during all of this. Biden's opinion piece was published in January 27th entitled, Trump is the worst possible leader to deal with coronavirus outbreak. He didn't have a mirror handy. The op-ed appeared only days after the Chinese government shut down the city of Wuhan in an effort to stem the crisis, so Biden should be commended for focusing early on an issue that for most Americans was still a distant threat. No, he shouldn't be commended on anything. He's not running anything but his mouth. And they say, oh, well, he did this, he did that. No, he was behind on the whole situation. Oh, you can try to twist it later and go back and say, no, well, this isn't caused by the Dems that didn't like Trump and the effect that goes with it, but that's exactly what it is, and it's their people. USA Today piece is more of an attack on Trump. Oh, really? And a recollection of Obama administration steps taken against the 2014 Ebola outbreak than a detailed plan for action against a possible pandemic. So no, he didn't have anything going on. In fact, he left us set up to not have enough things, but we figured it out real quick. Elon Musk was even put in and trying to make ventilators, and they tried to make him look real bad. I think he's maybe even leaving the state. Depends on how that goes there. But they tried to make him look bad, and he turned around and proved that, no, I sent all those out. Let me track them down. Oh, they're just sitting over here in a warehouse. What the hell's going on? All these other ones have been delivered. Why are you lying? And he made fun of them. Biden referred to the possibility of a pandemic and noted the outbreak of a new coronavirus, which had already infected more than 2,700 people and killed over 80 in China, will get worse before it gets better. This was no revelation. This is no crystal ball effect. Cases have been confirmed in a dozen countries, with at least 5 in the United States, and there will likely be more. Oh, that wouldn't have been any great genie prophecy either, for we all felt that that was going to be the effect. But how much would it affect? Would it be 9,000, 200,000? Would it be your 2 million? Because, man, if it is, then he sure did save people from that. So, again, that statement was true if you look at the data on what they were trying to say. They go on, though, that certainly stands in contrast to Trump, who repeatedly played down the possibility of a pandemic in the United States. No, now you're going to try to say he played down the pandemic, and he didn't. He tried to play it down as far as you freaking out or panicking. No one wants the American public to start panicking, right? They talk about it in Men in Black, how you can understand it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, but they can't. In a group, they just lose their minds, right? Right? They make mention of this and that kind of gives you the feeling for that, so we should expect another 215,000 dead by January, but if we wore a mask, we would save 100,000 of those lives doing nothing but that. They tell you that these numbers are on target. Deaths from novel coronavirus near 200,000 in the United States, and one influential group of researchers predicts the total will reach 415 by 2021. So they say, well, this one people with this inflated number that he's going off of to fearmonger, so that's okay to use that. But then other people say if it got another 50,000, that'd be impressive, and so he must, or not impressive, but quite a bit, and then therefore that would have been inflated by at least 4 times a situation. But also to believe that, see, here's what's funny here is he's standing around acting like we don't have masks and we're not doing this thing already. Yeah, and they keep trying to blame him on people not wearing a mask or doing something along that line. So, kind of strange when you start to add it all up here. The projection comes from the Institute of Health Metrics Evaluation, IMHE, at the University of Washington. The IMHE model currently forecasts 415,000 U.S. deaths by January 1st of 2021. So that would say the number that they had projected from a certain point back might get as high as 415. Well, we are pulling it off at some 188, 182, whatever it is right now. And of course, my 182 is from a month and a half ago, and the tabulated numbers are wherever they got it at. Seemed like it was in the middle, late September. Anyhow, assuming public health mandates were relaxed, the IME model predicts twice as many deaths before the end of the year, for a total of nearly 412,000, but the increase could be cut in half with universal face mask, according to the model, which predicts an additional 100,000 deaths under that scenario. Now let's clear that real quick. They're not even saying that it's just 2 times the 200,000, but they're telling you 400,000 more. What they're saying now, or trying to tell you, is that even though we've had all of this, and we got it under control somewhat, it's going to be twice as bad somehow. And I can understand in certain scenarios how it could get that way, but people start looking at far-reaching scenarios and pulling it out as the norm, and that would be just ridiculous to do. But here we have them doing it to try to satiate the Biden situation, right? Just to make it seem like he's not as foolish as he seems. And now it's going to lock up again and not let me go down. What the hell's the deal here? I hate this bullshit. If I can just go back to it. Sorry, guys. And my wife, seeing me do, and in the middle of doing this, made my pizza. That's fantastic. But she walks in and sets it in front of the camera with ranch dressing. Can you believe that actually happened? That looking at it, she goes, "Oh, right in front of the camera while you're talking." Can you believe that? I can't really believe it, but it doesn't matter, I guess. Just gotta let shit go sometimes, huh? Like I'll have to do this whole thing again just because of that. Or this bullshit now, which makes that no big deal because this happened anyhow. Oh, gotta have ads. Gotta have ads. Gotta have ads. Can I make the ad go away? It'll tell you Biden's opinion piece was published on January, though. So, he's early. He's all everything. No, he's actually talking about another situation. Like quite often, whenever he tries to bring up things, he's been shown to be a liar. One good example of that is, have anybody looked back at the 1988 elections? Yeah, there he said that he was on a scholarship and all these things happened and da-da-da, and he just got caught as a liar. And after he got caught over and over and over as a liar, he had to back out of the race, and he said, "Hey, I said some stupid things, and I'm going to keep saying stupid things." And he's still doing it now, and I can't believe he's the Democratic representative. But let's continue. So we get down here, the Institute forecasts saying that influential earlier in the pandemic guiding policies developed by the White House. So this forecast is what helped guide the White House. But of course they said millions, and so their same type of forecast where it's only 200,000, they're like, well, this is much better than your whole deal and everything. So he did a damn good job, but oh, they can't say that. He's in federal court trying to do away with the Affordable Care Act. 100 million people with pre-existing conditions like your mom would not have to pay more for their insurance under now. Well, that's a lie too. Yeah, so he keeps doing this through the whole thing, and this was a setup where she had an elderly that she had to keep up with cancer from, and though she already had the insurance in place and made it work pretty good, there are other people that don't so much. When he was halfway through, she got tired of standing up and listening to his crap and actually sat back down. But what was weird is he goes off a few times and he says, I got to quit talking about cancer. And then he keeps talking about cancer. Brings up his child, which died of cancer after it went to Iraq and came back. And then he quickly twists it into the lie again, which they don't mention here, about how Trump said my son was a loser. And that Trump never said your son was a loser. He never said that statement. And even the Lorax that people know went after Trump came out and said, no, now y'all have said some other stuff, but this is a lie. And they're still touting it. They love to do that, where they can tout a lie and they can say, hands up, don't shoot. And it's like, well, that never happened, but you're going to keep saying it? That would be pitiful. There's an estimated 102 million people with pre-existing health conditions, according to 2018, a report by the consulting group Avalair. But depending on where people get their insurance, such as the half of Americans who get it from their employer, premiums would not necessarily go up for 102 million if Trump succeeds in nullifying the ACA. So he's wrong about that, but also Trump's trying to come up with something better than the Biden program that is a failure under Obama. And everyone understands that. They're going to try to turn it into a bad thing. You know, no, it's all for the better. It's all for the better. But they say, oh, well, Trump couldn't make a good decision. He's made a lot of good decisions. In fact, the American public made good decisions whenever they chose him, and we now see that very clearly. But when you guys start talking on television about Biden, if he wins, he'd be the first person without an Ivy League degree to be elected president. That's also untrue. No reporter has actually said that. It's just a pump for him to put it out there. Yeah. Ronald Reagan, elected in 1980, was the last president who did not go to an Ivy League college or university. He went to Little Eureka College in Illinois, and it was part of the endearing things about him. He hadn't gone to that Ivy League situation. Like where we're looking at Trump, where he did go to an Ivy League, but at least he's not swathed in politics. A lot of people wanted to see this and what would happen. Now you can see what happens if we do get one in. They start attacking him and witch hunting because he won't go along with the bullshit and the lies towards the American public. And that is the big problem. Neither Biden nor his running mate Kamala Harris went to an Ivy League university, the first such Democratic statistic since 1984. Biden attended University of Delaware at Syracuse of Law, while Harris attended Howard and the University of California Hastings College of Law. And so even though they're putting that in there as a lie, they're kind of right there trying to put it as a prop up, like, oh, remember Reagan? This is like that, or something like that. So that's still disgusting, but let's continue. Update. Related to this comment, we missed one major blooper. Guys like me, who were the first in my family to go to college, he says. Well, as the Washington Post has reported, while Biden was the first on his father's side of the family to go to college, he's not the first in his whole family. So there we go again. Worse of all, though, people, whenever he did this exactly in 1988, they have him actually plagiarizing other people's speeches, nearly word for word, if not word for word in most part of it, talking about how he doesn't go to college and this, that, and the other, and da-da-da, word for word, cadence for cadence, everything. And he was busted totally. And after busted, he goes, oh, I should have said that I'm paraphrasing this other guy when I say it. And he goes, well, you're not talking about this other guy. Yeah, and then that fell under, and he did it again, and then he said that he was in college and all these other things, lies. If you want to look it up, people back then said his career in politics was over. And it makes you wonder how in a modern day he's still in politics, that he's still got even a foot up under him, much less that he's trying to run for president and he thinks he would be a better option than Trump. I mean, he can't keep his crap together. He's having to read off a teleprompter. They tell him what his feelings are about things. The worst thing that I had about the whole thing, because I watched it, I want y'all to watch it if you're into such things or feel like it whatsoever, or maybe watch one of the videos where people show the gaffes of it here. But how he got so mad and started acting like Trump's called my kid and everything, and how untrue that statement is. So how much truth did he have in any of it? Well, very little at all in the whole town hall. But when Trump went to a town hall, it's totally different. They come at him hard, boy. They come at him, you're a racist, everybody says it and know it. What do you feel about that? Try to do stuff like this. I'm just leading into. It's terrible. With him, they do other ones. They go, now you know Trump's a racist, and da-da-da, and this is what we're going to talk about for the next 5 minutes, and da-da-da. What do you think about that? Here's a softball. Let me tee it up for you on a tee like a little kid. Can you hit it? It's past disgusting. Hopefully America's waking up, but we need to do this whole swamp cleanup type thing. This crap shouldn't even be the other side of the fence. Think about it. Peace.